The Dragon Ball Super anime is close to returning, and with it, the most awaited saga, the Universe 6 saga, the visit of Vegeta to Sadala, the birthplace of the Saiyans. And with that, we will have not only this storyline, but much more about the mythology of the Saiyans and their legends in Dragon Ball Super. And we will have exclusively for the anime, the return of Yamoshi still in this saga. How they will create this from what we have so far about Yamoshi, this saga promises in both the anime and manga. I already ask you to subscribe to the channel, leave your like and activate the notification bell. With many exclusivities in some animes around the world, we have exclusive materials that are not in the manga and that have worked well. Even Dragon Ball has done it. And since the return of the anime is closer than ever, why not talk about it? But especially the Universe 6 saga, which will have additional things in its production in the anime. The arc that in both will be well constructed by the weight it carries in itself. We will get to know more about the Saiyan race, but today I will take this opposite path of everything. Understand that you have to watch the whole video to follow my reasoning. Before that,
quick reminder, if you love Dragon Ball What If stories, I've got exclusive members-only videos featuring original, alternate timelines and unique scenarios. Check out the membership section after the video. Now, back to today's topic.
I want to emphasize what I wrote above about exclusive anime materials, examples like Naruto, which was one of the most known animes to expand the original manga material with great filler arcs. A famous example is the Sasuke Exile arc and the several missions before the war, which took dozens of episodes and were not in the manga. In Bleach, we had the Bounce arc and the Rebel Zanpakuto arc, both created exclusively for the anime with complete stories, new characters, and battles that don't exist in the manga. Here we connect to a statement of Toyotaro, the current mangaka responsible for drawing and continuing the Dragon Ball Super manga, who in some recent interviews mentioned that he is dedicating more time to drawing new chapters, especially focusing on more elaborate villains and stories that better explore the universe of the series. He said he is preparing stronger antagonists and wants to show new forms of power, deepening the character development. Toyotaro commented that after consolidating the main sagas already published, he feels motivated to create arcs that bring surprises to the fans, including villains who bring unprecedented challenges to Goku, Vegeta, and the other warriors. He is excited about the anime's return and wants to align manga releases so the story continues fluid and attractive. Following the reasoning, in Dragon Ball Z, the Garlic Jr. saga was a totally original arc, placed between Namek and the androids, just like several training episodes or encounters with random characters. Another famous case is One Piece, which has several original mini-arcs, like the G8 saga, considered one of the best fillers in anime history, and also the Ice Hunter arc. In Full Metal Alchemist 2003, practically half of the work was its own development. Since the manga had not yet finished, it was an adaptation that created its own ending. Black Clover also started adapting extra content when the anime caught up with the manga, with new training and battles, mainly at the end of the animated series. Even Hunter x Hunter 1999 included expanded scenes, such as more character development in the Celestial Tower arc, and original episodes between Yorknu and Greed Island. These adaptations show that the anime sometimes needs to create to fill gaps or offer something new to the audience while awaiting the original material to advance. And this is exactly what this new saga is about. Something unprecedented is coming, and it will be about the return of Yamoshi. The legend that still lives today in Dragon Ball Super, that after adding the more advanced celestial factors like gods of destruction, angels, the Grand Priest, and even Zeno, this figure itself can become a mortal god, the first to exist. How did he actually achieve this? Was he friends with some entity, or were Saiyans really born with this premise to be gods? Through all this, it becomes possible, and Yamoshi's return is getting closer and closer, and I can prove it to you. For years, the name Yamoshi inhabited the most mysterious corners of the Dragon Ball universe, a figure shrouded in shadows, legends, and ancient myths, without face, without voice, but with a presence that seemed to weigh on every divine transformation. And now, more than ever, his appearance begins to sound possible. The factors are changing in Dragon Ball Super, and the power level is far beyond what we even dreamed. And this is one of the paths that will lead us to Yamoshi, and the true Saiyan is coming again in this world, and not as a distant echo from the past, but as an active, impactful, and even decisive return in future sagas. There are two great ways that support his return, both not only plausible but also deeply symbolic within the world created by Akira Toriyama, loaded with narrative elements that fit perfectly into the mythology of the Saiyans. I will explain detail by detail each one of them, and you will be literally amazed.
The first takes us to Universe 6, and it couldn't be different. The second, directly to the wild and intense soul of another person who is Broly. And there, in Universe 6, these roots will ignite even more. Pretty curious, right? So stay until the end. I guarantee you won't regret it. The first face of his return is something quite complex and would be somehow very linked to the Saiyans of Universe 6. Yamoshi would be the missing link between the two twin universes, the 6th and the 7th universe, and the anime will recreate this masterfully. Imagine that the current king of Sadala, a just and kind leader of this new generation of Saiyans, who did not see his own race consumed by violence and thirst for conquest, just like Yamoshi, who tried to contain it but was not able alone to purge this barbarity growing among his peers, and facing an internal war where compassion was a weakness. Anyway, the current king of Sadala, later in the Universe 6 saga, would be revealed to us as a direct relative of Yamoshi, and that maybe some god or maybe an angel touches his destiny, or in the case of his father or grandfather, and he is the link of Yamoshi in this current world. This is totally plausible, especially because the Saiyans there are everything Yamoshi dreamed, and maybe his fight was not all in vain. The story of Yamoshi, told by Shenlong, according to what is presented in the movie Dragon Ball Super Broly, is mentioned very briefly through Shenlong's words in response to the desire to know about the origin of the Super Saiyans and the Super Saiyan God. Shenlong explains that a long time ago, there was a just Saiyan named Yamoshi who rebelled against the evil Saiyans of his own people who were thirsty for combat, and during his desperate battle, he transformed into the Super Saiyan God with the support of 5 companions of pure heart. However, even with this power, he was defeated shortly after, dying and leaving only the legend recorded. As for the exact time when this happened, Shenlong does not specify a precise date, but everything indicates that it occurred thousands of years before the current events of Dragon Ball, possibly even before the unification of planet Vegeta under the leadership of the Saiyans, when the Tuffles still inhabited the planet originally called Planet Plant. In an interview, Akira Toriyama said that Yamoshi's story inspired the Super Saiyan God ritual and became a legend passed down, eventually reaching the knowledge of beings like Shenlong and gods like Beerus. This indicates that Yamoshi lived in a remote era, prior to the Saiyans' domination as planet conquerors, which implies something between 1,000 to 3,000 years before the destruction of planet Vegeta, although the chronology has never been officially fixed. It can be estimated that the life expectancy of a pure Saiyan is around 100 to 120 years, with the peak of physical strength lasting until around 80 or more, especially if the warrior continues training or fighting actively. So, yes, it would be decades until his arrival here, which would imply this part about being the grandfather or father of the king of Sadala. So let's just consider earlier generations, which would be much more plausible. And this makes it possible that some angel like Vados, Champa's assistant, could very well have observed Yamoshi even before his complete fall and taken him to Universe 6, or some descendant of his. It has not been revealed whether he possessed this or not, so we have these two options, where a new Saiyan civilization could be created, now without the burden of destruction, and through the Super Dragon Balls or some sphere from there, the Saiyans created a planet for themselves. The truth of Yamoshi and the origin of the Super Saiyan God would then have been erased or distorted in Universe 7, with Shenlong, the earthly dragon, forced to tell only part of the story as far as his powers reach, and no further than that. Another correct point to expect, just as we know about the power of the Dragon Balls having to do with their creators. After all, gods also lie, hide, and shape narratives according to their own interests. A dragon summoned with magical spheres has no freedom to say everything it knows. It only answers what it is allowed to, and only shares what it is authorized. Thus, the name of Yamoshi was transformed into myth, and his true journey sealed in a mirrored universe.
And now, in this new Universe 6 saga in the anime, he could be revealed not as a forgotten figure, but as the very king of Sadala, an ancestor who survived and built something new away from destructive eyes, such as those of Frieza and the Saiyans who remained there. Interesting theory, right guys? That would indeed be very cool. This emphasis on Yamoshi in the Universe 6 saga, there would be a lot to discover there, and a possible real connection of the Saiyans being true deities, and therefore the help of angels in this case. This would also explain Beerus's intervention regarding the Saiyans who have lived for a long time beyond the current time in Dragon Ball. To survive that long, there are many things we still have no idea about, and could in fact be added in Dragon Ball Super, which would lead to many other sagas, better developed. Anyway, the second theory, no less intriguing, involves none other than him, Broly. That's right, the wild warrior with a pure heart and catastrophic strength. Contrary to the traditional idea of reincarnation, this proposal sees Broly as the true spiritual and biological heir of Yamoshi. It is no coincidence that his energy is different, that his power grows uncontrollably, as if there existed in him something much older and more primitive than any known transformation. Broly didn't learn the Super Saiyan. He tore it from his own instinct. He wasn't shaped by training. He awakened through pain, loss, and the instinct to survive. His power defies logic, scale, and even Whis' teachings, which indicates that maybe he is connected to something the angels don't control, a forgotten lineage. In this reading, Broly is not just strong, he is the spark of an ancient spirit, and this spirit is Yamoshi. Whether by direct reincarnation or by a genetic heritage that survived hidden, Broly carries Yamoshi's essence. In his pure heart, in his resistance to corruption, and his natural connection with the forces of nature, he represents what the Super Saiyan God was before the word God was used, a just warrior who fought not for glory or domination, but for justice. Yamoshi's appearance in this case would happen in moments of extreme danger, not as a separate body, but as a presence that surfaces inside Broly, guiding his instincts, perhaps even speaking through him in a moment of spiritual transcendence. It would be something like reincarnation, but in a different way. Broly didn't have to hit his head to become pure of heart, nor be molded as Vegeta was, nor in a way did he need to unite Saiyan genes with humans to be pure of heart. He simply is, and that is the most interesting thing about it all. There are just and noble Saiyans, like Bardock himself, yes, but it is something totally different in Broly. Maybe that voice that inhabited Bardock to help someone, as he says in the movie, "We always destroy, I want to build something too." In that sense, when his wife questions him about how rare it is for a Saiyan to care about their child, that voice of Yamoshi echoed through him as well. But the premise here is that Broly is indeed pure of heart, but has a monster inside him, which is the Ozaru instinct. Perhaps the Saiyans long before Yamoshi were like the Saiyans of Sadala, but something changed, a connection with gods or some entity like the Ozaru itself, given how the Saiyans of Sadala do not have tails like those of Universe 7. So there is a lot of hidden stuff that can be gradually clarified in future new sagas if it is well constructed. Man, this talk here is worth millions, right guys? Leave your comment on this, your ideas too. Anyway, both theories hold based on elements that already exist in the work. So with the warrior's visit to Sadala, there could be someone there who would read Broly and come in such a way that the legend of Yamoshi echoed even to Universe 6. That would be incredible.
Broly broke the logic of the battle scale. Now, with so many paths crossing, with the multiverse open and old characters returning like Frieza in his black form, there is space and need for a new myth to manifest. Yamoshi could be that piece, could be the point of convergence between past, present, and future. A warrior who was forgotten, but whose impact was felt for millennia, now ready to present himself as an exiled king or as a reborn soul. And maybe, when Yamoshi finally reveals himself, the Dragon Balls will no longer be necessary to explain his existence. Maybe he will show that legends don't die, they just wait for the right moment to awaken.